This is Warriors Anonymous.
Tahirua Tori Wā. Welcome along to Warriors Anonymous on what is an incredible occasion for us Warriors fans. Maybe I would dare say probably one of the high points in the entire club history as the phone is going crazy as well. Let's just put that on silent. My name is Jared Cronin. Welcome along to the episode. We've got two of the lads on tonight. First of all, we've got both from the Windy City at the moment. Moneta Salisbury, how are you hanging in Wellies?
I can actually hear you guys because the wind is that loud, and I can actually just see our windows starting to shake quite. And it looks like the one's gonna bust through, but hey, it's all good. And why'd I go? The Warriors. That was my pun. That was terrible. I've been seeing some fantastic signs on TV, like all these awesome puns, So it's,
they've been incredible.
I'm trying to keep it going.
I love the Hakuna Marata one. That's a great one.
Hakuna Marata.
The little animation of Timon with Marata's face on there. We've also got our man on the scene from last night, or at the game on Saturday, Daniel Wharekura. Bro, you've survived the game itself and also the flight back, which sounded like a bit of a bumpy experience as well.
Yeah, kia ora koutou whānau. Tawhiri Matia, the god of wind, is really doing his thing. Man, I'm kind of got a little bit drained. It's just been an epic 24 hours, really, of getting up to the game. So got up there yesterday morning. I'll just give you a bit of a rundown, if that's all good, boys, just of some key things.
Bro.
Outside of the actual game part, but the game day experience. So managed to catch the bro, Zane Warriorholic. He just comped us into the lounge as well, just to get the journey started. Heaps of Wars fans in the lounge, heaps either overtly Wars supporters with the up the Wars, and there's a few undercover brothers that were going up to the game. But as soon as they saw you, they gave you up the Wars as well. And then we got to the game a couple of hours beforehand. There was a bit of a meetup with some of the Wars supporting and content creators as well. So got to Lily World. So those from out of Auckland that haven't been up lately, Lily World is a great setup for hanging out, chilling out. It's a big cafe attached to Mount Smart as well. So that was good. We got there quite early, actually, and then managed to catch up with heaps of people. So I had, obviously, Zano was there, Livon was there. We had Nick from Warriors Fans TV as well, and Real. Nice. Couple of good lads there. There was the bro Lee was there as well, Lee Cloth, I think it is. He's a good man, real hearty.
Yep.
We also had a visit actually from the One New Zealand Warriors CEO, Jason Paris.
Oh yeah, the Twitter finger. Good man.
Yeah, he is a top guy. Like, obviously he'd comped the boys in to the One New Zealand One New Zealand box area as well. So he came down, had a beer with a few of us, had a good chat. Just all about the people, all about the real fans, and just wanted to talk footy, which was great as well. So he had a little bit of good oil too. He had from Cam George that he'd text Cam George on game day that they did say that SJ was going to play. So long as he got through the warm-up, he was going to play. So I think for a lot of Warriors fans, it kind of just eased, the group there just eased our tensions, because we knew he was named, but we just knew we've got to wait for that hour before kickoff just to make sure, triple check that he's there. So it was nice to get a little bit of inside oil. And then, we cruised into the game. And I made a bit of a mistake. I thought in the haste just to get tickets, I just went and bought tickets, and I thought, shit, I've got tickets, but I'm up in the far left corner somewhere, which would have been great seats anyway. But I went over to that corner on the west side, and I showed my ticket. Me and the father-in-law Ed showed our tickets, and they said, "You're actually on the east stand." And we looked again, and we ended up being in the upper east stand at halfway, and it was literally halfway. Like I was on one side of halfway, and Ed was sitting on the other side of halfway, pretty much. It was glorious. Sun was streaming in, and then as kickoff arrived, the Warriors might have beat us. Actually, got us a little ahead of us because they came into how many did you know roll like this? How many did you know roll like this? So it was a great entrance for the team. Came on, and then just throughout the vibe was just absolutely fire. We rode every moment. Crowd was, as soon as we got on into the game, the crowd was just right there. And then just a couple of standout moments, which obviously we'll talk about anyway. But there was a moment where I think fans were confident. We were up by a few. The chant for na 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 hey goodbye to the old Knights fans, which there were a few scattered around. So it was they were pretty hearty. And then two other moments just to touch on was Shawnee coming off as well. And I'm not sure what it looked like on TV, but a standing ovation for 2-3 minutes as he did a slow walk out the back of the south stand all the way around to the west stand just to take a seat on the bench, which was just epic to see. And as the whistle went full time, Savage got up on the big screen, dub time, and you had 26,000 people singing the team song. So, probably a bucket list thing, once in a lifetime opportunity, which, I guess for the time period we haven't been in the finals for, it was just awesome, great experience, and highly emotional, awesome fun, very draining now, but I'm just glad I was there.
The come down from the heights, the massive heights that were, I saw a couple of reports there. My brother-in-law Damien said it was, by far the best Warriors crowd he's ever been in. Zane, obviously, the Warriorholic, I think you mentioned it was one of the best nights of his life. As he was rolling in the circles there with all of the 1NZ folks and the Warriors people. So that's cool, bro. That's really cool. Like, I could sense a lot of it through the TV. Like you get a little bit of an ear, obviously, from having gone to different games and that, and you kind of pick up sort of how things sound at the ground and how it comes across on the TV. And man, like that sounded loud, bro. That sounded really loud. And just, the commentators, Mick Ennis and those guys they were just absolutely frothing about it, going, man, this is like it was like being at a English Premier League game. They were just so excited with the crowd. But yeah, Moneta, I can see you worried about the wind there, bro. Is everything still in place?
It looked like it looked like the wind's gonna topple our glass window down. So I'm like, oh Jesus, it's shaking pretty profusely. So it's all good. It's double glazing, but it's definitely giving it a good shake.
Man,
so,
man. Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa, I could see it reverberating, shaking. And I'm like, oof. So
made for all weather. There's a lot of nervous tradesmen around the Wellington region at the moment, aren't there? We've also got a little bit of, or we can be a little bit on edge as well for this episode because Isaac Soss, who was flying over to Japan at the time of the game, luckily stumbled across in New Zealand showing the Warriors game live, which was, oh man, I was so happy for him that they were able to put that on. But apparently Isaac's out at the moment having a little bit of the old celebratory drinks. So he may pop in or may not, or whatever state he may pop in with, which is great. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen live on this live podcast. Moneta, this was the first, our first home final in 15 years. Was that our performance of the year today?
Yeah. In terms of they executed perfectly. When I was thinking game of year, I was thinking Sharks versus Warriors, but in terms of execution, they executed it to a T. And this is with Sean Johnson having a sore calf, and he just made it happen. He makes all the difference, I think, and he just gets everyone else up in the team to another level. I can't complain. And the defense was fantastic too. Like everyone had stellar games. So yeah, that was. I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. Like I was watching it, and from the last game we had against the Panthers, we definitely turned it around, and it does show how important Sean Johnson is to the team. So, oh yeah, bring on the Broncos. Yeah.
Oh man, seriously. If honestly, like if we can play like that, bro, we can shake them. We can.
Oh yeah.
We can really do this. But what was it like being at the ground and watching Sean? Move around the field. How was he getting around the place? Because on TV, it looked fine, but obviously being there might have a different perspective.
Yeah, look, to be honest, he didn't play like someone that had a calf issue for the last 2 weeks, right? So I was perhaps expecting him to be less mobile than he actually was. And I was just talking to Moneta beforehand as well. The one big thing you noticed live there, but you obviously noticed from the previous week as well, but more in particular live, is our territorial kicking was, a lot stronger. Even when we had a few sets where we to be fair, where I thought the Knights were probably on top for a period as well. Our kicking game, or Sean's kicking game, was able to give us enough time, height and length in cases, just to ensure we got them in a position where we could, go to work as well. So, so he was running around fine. Even to, I guess, if you saw Webby's presser as well, even to Webby's disgust and dismay, a couple of little cheeky little darts and runs as well. So, which I don't think was in the game plan, but I think he was off his right foot anyway.
So
he
had a sore calf, eh? I was like, oh, what are you doing?
I think Rocco said it is fine because Rocco got injured. He said, nah, it's all good because there's a couple of right foots and it's the left one that was struggling with. So maybe it's a little insight to the Broncos around actually, he ain't going to come off his left. But his movement around was just Sean-esque. It was beautiful.
Beautiful. Because, it was one of those things, wasn't it? Calf watch just gripped the nation for another week. And, and then he, even like you say, you get to game day, he's been confirmed in the lineup, but you're just waiting to get to that point of kickoff where they, he's still there. Okay, well, he's got the 7 jersey on, he's run across the line to start the game. And then it just becomes a whole fresh new bunch of worries about, is he going to make it through the game? Particularly jumping around like a jackrabbit at times. Now, it is a really good sign. I don't know if this is maybe just me being a little bit romantic or not. I like to think of myself as pretty fair and balanced on things. But ordinarily, when we plan an episode like this, try and write out all the good stuff and all the bad stuff. And really, I had to kind of start filling up the bad stuff with like a couple of minor injury things because there was really not a heck of a lot that you could kind of nitpick. Moneta is... Moneta. Is Moneta all right there?
Yeah, that's...
Have we lost anything?
No, sorry. I just talking to my wife and she told me my cat's outside, so he might be flying around like a kite.
like the movie Twister, with the cow.
Yeah. So, my cat's okay in this gusty wind.
Yeah, be fine.
Yeah. My wife is just like,
now, Moneta, when we started this game, bro, like I've never seen us start like in such a sustained manner. Bang, bang, bang. Put on 3 tries, and we just looked beautiful doing it. What did you make of the opening to this big game?
I think for them, they didn't. They seemed a bit more calm compared to the last one. I think they were kind of overawed by the the match against the Panthers. But I think this time around, there's a sense of kind of calmness towards their approach, and they weren't overexerting themselves in terms of like the plays. They were just like executing what they needed to do, and they just stuck to their systems and so forth. So, and it worked, and like it proves that what Webster's done for the team and put a system in place for the Warriors is working. So they've just stuck to that, and man, they just look slick, And the forwards, AFB, oh my God, he's a legend, isn't he? Barnett, Marahata, they all stepped up. It was a bloody joy to watch. In the subs, Curran, Dylan Walker when he ran into the goal post, he just bounced off and scored. Oh, there's so many good moments. But yeah, the first 15, I honestly thought they were going to kick on and get more points, but credit to the Knights, they kind of came back a bit and kind of clawed themselves back.
They're a quality team, and they've been playing really well also. I did like that Dylan Walker one where he ran at the post. It was like he'd sort of used it like an extra obstruction sort of right there. They couldn't get across inside the post. So,
It was drop kick.
clever. The drop kick needs a bit of work, but that's all good. Now, in terms of the pressure, we just applied so much constant pressure on them throughout the game, but was it clearly evident at the ground that we were just even when we were sort of getting put on the back foot, we'd respond and we'd come back and try and pin them back down.
Absolutely, and I guess that first 10, 15 minutes, you noticed a difference in a big game where a team makes errors early as well, and then can't defend those errors, which I think was the difference. We had a period, they had a period where, probably a similar amount of time. I was just watching that part back. It was probably, we had to defend 3 sets on the line, 3 or 4 sets, and we, obviously conceded as well. But the difference was, we defended those errors as well, and we turned them away. So in that similar period of time, we got those 3 tries. They got 1. And coming back to your point on the sort of them putting them on pressure and us being able to get out of that pressure as well when it was applied to us. Yeah, we did. I think we got back to, and they've talked about this, the fundamentals that have got us through the season so far. It is, as Webby, I think, sort of first said to them, is that, you give me the first 3 tackles of the set, and you can have the last 2 kind of thing. And we just finished down the end, kick to the corner, and then D up hard as well. So there was a period, I think, from sort of halfway through the first half to the first maybe 10 minutes of the second half, where it was being matched, and the territory battle was just kind of a little bit of sort of back and forth. But I think what we did really well was just absorb that, really, really well, and just knew that we had firepower to kind of come home strong as well, which I think a lot of Warriors fans thought if we were going to get the Knights, we'd get them late, based on the fact that they had a massive game the week before. And I think it actually showed. I think for them, it's the mental load of being like 10 in a row, up as well. And it's just hard to sustain that as well. And we've seen that too. So we did extremely well to get ourselves out of pressure and then push it back on them.
Moneta, I would probably suggest it was the closest to the plan that we've been all year. I mean, we've kind of hinted at it at different times, and there's been games where we've been awesome, but this really was, the plan. Back 5, getting us out of trouble. They were just, making great yards to start sets off. We were finishing off the sets well. The error count was really low, and we were patient with things. What did you make of the plan and how we just went about what we do?
Well, one more can I say? It's like we just followed it, and I think we learned a lot. I think they must have watched a lot of tapes during the week in regards to how they performed against Penrith, because the game against Penrith, like I said, they just weren't able to execute, and I think they, almost played with. I remember Webster saying they almost played with a bit too much energy. Like you've got that kind of like excitement, but you're not remembering the plan. So like this, back to what I said before, that they had a sense of a bit more calmness and execute. And talking about the back 5G, man, Rocco Berry, he's stepping up again. And then Pompey, P-O-M-P, to those haters, fuck off. But yeah, so they all stepped up. So and Tamare Martin, I'll bet he had a quiet game. He's starting to come into form. I reckon he's starting to show his defense, and he was solid. So next game he'll be up for it. I think you can see he's got a lot of the cobwebs out of his game, and it's good to see because it's much needed when we go against the Broncos. So
Yeah.
and CNK, he only made 300 meters.
Is that all? Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. But he is the man. He's the legend. Oh,
Tell him
Ricky
to pull
got
finger
one,
next week, eh?
Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Tell him to pull finger next week. Man,
Yeah, I
300
know.
meters, is that all?
Tell Tohu to calm down too.
Don't tell
Mate,
Josh to
Josh-
pull finger.
The warrior. He is the ultimate warrior.
Oh, Joshy's finger. Oh,
Oh, Josh, you saw. But Tohu Harris, he's the ultimate warrior. He's personifies leadership and just, I love him. I love all of them.
I was actually really pleased. Out of the back five, the guy I was most pleased for was Monty. Because I just felt like there'd been a few weeks where he'd just not quite. The effort was there, no doubting that, but just a little bit of maybe concentration and definitely confidence wasn't quite where it needed to be. And I saw it click for him on the game on Saturday, and that just made me so happy because obviously he's one of our favourites, and to see him getting back to where he had been previously. That was great. It was almost a bit of a barometer, I suppose, for how the rest of the team was going. But Buddha, another thing that was very impressive, amongst a lot of impressive things, was the defense and the job that we did on containing, especially a guy like Kalen Ponga, who's dangerous, one of the most dangerous guys in the league. How did that look at the ground, and what did you pick up from what we were doing to the Knights?
Yeah, that was awesome, really, because that was the big threat, right? And I was really worried because of the way they'd let sort of someone like Cleary last week, and they slightly enters the back line slightly differently, but they just afforded him so much time and space, so they were actually really shut down his time, his space. So the line speed was really good. I think Kalen actually spoke about it. Like he said that because they were winning the middle, brought the edges into the game, and then they kind of suffocated them as well. And every time they went out to Kalen, a couple of times he just poked his nose through as well, but there wasn't anything clean, right, that we'd seen for the last half of the season as well. And that's down to guys like Rocco, guys like Pompey, Tamaiti, Shawnee, those halves and the centres as well, and obviously with the edges too. Really looked after him. So because that was the big threat. And occasionally, they looked to threaten us on the outside, but then it was great reads by Dallin, great reads from Monty a few times as well. Which really, really saved, especially on Dominic Young, who'd been tearing it, on the outside. So, hats off. They got that one. They got that done well.
Yeah, nice. Moneta, it's you've mentioned a couple of names. You mentioned Rocco Berry. You mentioned Adam Pompey. Now, these are two guys who, young fellas, and probably not lacking for confidence, but one thing they are lacking is finals experience. How important is it for these guys to now, get out in a really big finals game and just absolutely kill it? What will that do for their confidence?
I think the last game, they had their confidence would now, I think they've got it now. And I think they'll be ready for the next game against the Broncos. And again, I think this week, I don't think they'll do anything different in regards to, against the Broncos. And I think the same message would be had, just stick to what we've been doing throughout the year. And, that will give us confidence. If we can keep on executing what we're doing, it's been working. It's got us to the finals. It's got us to the top four. And we've beaten Newcastle. Let's not go about and change anything. And I think that in itself, which, shows that there's confidence, not only within themselves, but within the system, or within everything, the coach, within the management, like the entire Warriors kind of organisation. There's a sense of confidence that just permeates through all levels. So, I think just keep on doing what they're doing. That's working. But those two, you can tell, like Rocco didn't have the greatest year last year, and same as Pompey. But I think, again, you've got a coach that actually believes in them. And the same with Montoya. People are writing off Montoya, but like that's what a coach who has belief in their players does. It brings out the best, and that's what's happened.
Yeah, nice. Was really, obviously, a lot of people were really happy about Rocco sneaking that little try. Commentators were saying shades of Mark Coyne in Origin, which made me laugh. Now, I guess a lot of a bit of a knock that we've had on the team this year, Daniel, was that there's been times in matches, we call them kind of X factor moments, where things have kind of they're a little bit out of the ordinary, shall we say, and they need a little bit of extra sort of brilliance or awareness to really take advantage of it. And I just looked at that Rocco try, and I thought about what we've been talking about. So how much will he take from that, and also how much will the team take from the fact that we are starting to get to the point where we can take advantage of those particular moments?
I think just highlighted the fact that when you've got when you're throwing so many shots at teams as well, then you feel the confidence of space that they've been given. There's opportunities on, and as Webby said, look, you give me the 3 and you have the 2. In terms of attack, that gives them a little bit of a license just to try something as well. And I think first and foremost, you've got to big ups to Dallin, the ability to get the offload out 3 on the tackle, and he always saw that a few weeks ago. Definitely a few weeks ago when he did the same thing for Shawnee. Right, it was a ball from nowhere, which we thought, shit, where's this coming from? And then where we were watching you saw Rocco kind of take it into tackle, get it high, go down low, take it into tackle, and you thought, from the view we thought, oh shit, he's been held up over the line as well. And then they were like, oh, possibly a try, and you think, oh, checking a double movement, and you're like, oh no, first thought was like, oh, he's fallen to temptation, He's so close to the line, and he's just put it over as well. Shit, we have to go back and penalty, and then you just watch it and you go, that is a play and a half. The ability and the league smarts to know what he was trying to achieve, keeping that arm up as well, and the plant. Like, he should take heaps of confidence out of that. As a rugby convert, the smarts in the play to stay alive. And then the strength and the power to get over the line. It's a big play. And, the game was, I'm not going to say in the balance, but, we needed the ascendancy of the momentum, right? We needed to get points for the momentum, and a play like that, it's a killer. It was a killer for the night, I think. Yeah. Probably was the death knell.
You could tell, the energy that we got from it. You could see, guys like Mitch Barnett and that, jumping around and getting excited. It was like, bro, that was a real boost for what we were trying to do. So, Rocco. Moneta, Adam Pompey, he's taken over the goal kicking sort of duties for the past few weeks, and he's starting to look like a pretty decent goal kicker, bro.
Oh yeah, no, the first one I was like, uh-oh. I was like, this is what's good. These
Can't
two
afford
places, finals, we need to nail these. But after that, he got into rhythm and just slotted them over. And he's looking good.
Oh, the black dot from the corner.
Beautiful, just straight.
Yeah. Just adding another bow to why he should stay in the team. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Take that, Roger. No.
Whoa.
But we saw something a little bit different on the second try for Adam Fanua-Black. Because ordinarily he's been kind of shopping around the middle kind of area with Tohu and maybe linking up with Wade Egan and these guys. On that try, they shifted him a little bit wider. And it got me interested. I was like, well, that's different. We haven't broken that one out before. How did you see that one at the ground?
Well, I guess when you saw him just absolutely put some stunning footwork on Tyson Campbell, and just to carve through that hole, and big just man. Thought, like I was, to your point, I was like, I texted my brother, said, who's going to score the first try? Who's the first player you saw? And I saw Eden as well. But I just always had in my mind, Eden would score, but I thought it'd be closer to the post. It'd be like that hit play from Egan in there, or Tohu as well. But to see him just one man wider as well, it's just a thing of beauty. Like a big man like that. I mean, yes, he could have steamrolled him to get over, but he actually just cut him off the left, bam, in there, relatively untouched. It was beautiful. So obviously the Warriors had probably seen something in Tyson Gamble's defensive structure at the time. And what are you going to do? Like, actually, I don't know what he did. Like, you'd think he was going to just jam on him and maybe Adam could have given him. But, I mean, we were rolling then, right, early on. And, that was just too hard to handle. And I think actually you can get a roll on at the start of a game. You can really smack a team in the face by coming out strong like that. And, mate, it was beautiful. Beautiful.
Because you could see it in Adam when he got the ball. It was like he was prepared to, to take him by force, to run over the top of him. And then he just realized, he's like, hang on, I can just beat him. Like, boom, see you later, bro. Get out of here.
Come through, Mr. Thunder Blake.
I was just like, please put the ball down quicker. Don't do what you did last time.
Exactly. I was saying the same thing.
Michael Witt.
Put the fucking ball down.
Now, Moneta, I guess we've got to address the sort of the minor downsides, I'm going to call it, of this game. And that was just a couple of little bumps and bruises along the way. Marata Nukore got injured and came back to the field. Obviously, that's a good sign, I suppose. Curran's finger, not such a good sign in terms of, his hand looked interesting. But also, Wade Egan, he's kind of a bit like Kenny off South Park. Every episode, he's like, "Oh my god, they killed Kenny." That's kind of the running joke with Wade Egan. He sort of gets some kind of bloody
injury,
bump every game. But how do you think we are going to pull up with those guys? It seems reasonably. I'm not going to say let's say reasonably minor anyway.
Yeah, I think Marata, he came back ready to come on. I think he did come back on in the second half. So I think there was a slight Curran. His finger looked horrendous, but I do think he'll come back next week. They'll do something. They kind of like taped it together.
Got the healing hands from
Curran,
Jazz.
He will not let a dislocated finger stop him from playing. The Jazz hands. You don't want to talk about the other hands, but yeah. And then I think, what is it? Egan came off for an HIA. I can't. Did you guys get a report on how that went?
Because that was an HIA. Was it?
Yeah, they said he came off for an HIA.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just kind of thought they were just being cautious with him. Like
okay, all right. If that's the case, then thank God, because he's winner. Then he's great. He's awesome. He's just tough as nails. He got bowled over, and I thought, oh fuck, here we go again. He just gets back up. I'm like, okay.
Was that one where he came off? He got hit in a high tackle from Nukore. Lucky you can't get suspended for this. Nukore hit him in the jaw, and then kind of like crusher tackled him on the way down as well. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
anyways,
that guy, he's just made out of nails. And I take back what I said 2 years ago about him. I was just slamming him, but he's coming to his
Wayne.
own. And now
Wayne.
Yeah. And now he's just like,
he's a new man. He's Wayne Egan.
Yeah.
He's a key cog in the machine.
Yeah.
I guess again real nitpicking. But maybe just a slightly flat start to the second half for our boys.
Yeah, I'll be a little nitpicky because I think at the game there was two things I was a little bit unsure. Well, two things that they will need to go into work with as well. And first was, I guess, Tamati's timing. There's just a couple of things as well. So there was a play, he went out wide right in front of us, and he showed Jackson Ford under, like he dummied him, and then he went back to him. And I mean, the timing was just out. It was a little bit of like a indecision, and look, that's just probably just again getting into this, into his third game back, right? So a little bit of indecision there, and then a little bit of execution just on the far right hand side, just before the end of the half, right? It was a hot pass as well needed, and so just those little things which I think hopefully he can be better for next week. I still think he's trying to find his contributions, and if I'm honest, I don't think he needs to be a playmaker, and it sounds weird as a 6, right? But the fact that we have Shawnee obviously pick his sides whenever he wants, right? And the only issue is that teams will, Panthers, Broncos, we play those in the next couple of weeks, or Storm, they'll try to load up there. But we do have Tohu, who obviously just phenomenal, and Dylan as well. So when he comes on, so I actually think Tamati's just best being another distributor, like a little bit wider as well, or he's like Luki Mikiafu was sniffing balls up the middle. But maybe he's just trying to find, maybe he's going to land on that for the next couple of games, because that whole kind of too many chefs spoil, and I don't think he's a guy that just wants to overcall and get in for the sake of it, but I just think he's better to maybe play the other role. And the other thing, and maybe you guys can weigh on this as well, that flat period is perhaps the fact that when you bring Adam and Mitch off together, and we love Dylan and Jazz, they come on as well. But I did notice the only thing I'd be critical of is that period of time we couldn't wrap the Knights up. The amount of offloads they had in second phase ball, it just got them, those extra offloads generate another 5-10 metres, gets the defence going backwards as well. So that kind of brought them back into the game. But look, as soon as Mitchie came back on board, and we didn't throw Adam on straight away as well. Actually, he probably, I'd like to check his minutes, but he managed to, well, fortunately, maybe arrest him a little bit more. But just something in that period of the game where I think Webby will really want to have a look at this week, and how he addresses it.
Yeah, nice. I like that. I like that attention to detail. Now, the New South Wales Cup boys, they had a close loss on the weekend. They had their own prelim final on Saturday up against the North Sydney Bears. Good old historic name, rugby league, that one. Unfortunately, the Bears held on 28-24. We were down 28-18 with about, 4 or 5 minutes to go, and all of a sudden we got a try, and we were throwing the ball around, and we were starting to look like we could have just done something crazy, but it wasn't to be in the end. So I just want to say a quick congrats to the boys, our boy Tanner and the team for finishing third. Massive year, huge effort from
Great
the boys
season.
in the first season back. Man, that's incredible. So hopefully they get to enjoy a bit of Mad Monday. Maybe tomorrow or whenever they're going to do that. Maybe that cheat meal that Tanner was talking about could be on the cards at some stage.
Yeah.
Now, also exciting stuff for this week as well. Obviously, last week was a little bit of a blip on the radar with different things health-wise going on, so that kind of held us back. But this week we're looking good. We're back on with what we're looking to do in the lead up to the Broncos game. So you might wonder why we're not talking about the Broncos game a heck of a lot in this episode, because as we move throughout the week, Monday through to Friday, we're going to be covering all bases and more. I don't know if you can do that, but so we're going to be left, right, and centre, and just trying to be all over a whole lot of different things. Might get a couple of guests in as well, possibly see what the transporter, the Warriorholics, up to, and Levon and whoever else might be around in the lead up to the the big prelim game. How are you boys feeling about it, Moneta? What's the sort of feeling heading into the Broncos clash?
Oh, definitely excited, but also nervous. I think when it comes close to the time, I'll get that level of anxiety. And plus, it's played, at our time it's played a bit later, 9:50, so I've got to be a bit quiet so I don't wake up the kids.
Yeah, right.
I'm looking forward to it. And, the Broncos won't be easy. They've got a lot of firepower. And good old Reece Walsh is, he's on fire. He's fantastic at the moment. So, but if we did what we did against Ponga, I think we could do the same thing. We could shut him down, and
But you're reminding me.
I can't wait. There's not much I could say. I mean, it's going to be a long week because it's probably the only thing I'll be looking forward to. next weekend. So yeah.
Yeah. You give me flashbacks to the game against Newcastle because we'd just got Bubba down, go to sleep after a little while, and so he was asleep for the game, which was good. But of course, that meant that every time we're doing something good, I'm just like,
Yeah.
and sort of
I gotta be
twice I
Okay.
stuffed it up because I jumped up, like I was quiet, I didn't say anything, I just jumped up out of my seat. But both times I forgot that I had the remote on my leg. So I got up and it just clanged on the floor and the batteries flew out and it just made a noise. And I was like, oh, shit. I did that 2 times in a row.
Oh, no.
So then after that, just put the remote to the side and it was like,
He's gonna. It's like silent, celebration. Yes.
that was it, bro. Yeah. I was like doing the old fist pump, just like. Buddha, we've got a big week coming up, heading into the Broncos, both the Warriors Anonymous lads and also the team as well. How do you think that the side will be preparing to go to Brisbane?
Oh, mate, they'll be taking the confidence of that performance, that effort, and I guess sticking the fingers up the NRL as in the Australians' view on kind of where we were, right? So that'll give them plenty of confidence, but they'll go to Suncorp with a lot of, there's going to be hopefully a good smattering of Warriors supporters. It always is in Brisbane, always.
Yeah.
So I know that Codes will be flying left, right and centre. Go to Codes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A man will be out there, Warrior Nation. Richie, he's already on the Codes.
The Code Master.
Get along, Whānau. The Code Master, Get along, Whānau. But I reckon they're going to go with the mindset of, and I think Shawnee used to say this a while ago, they're going to burn the boats. They're going to basically, it's like a hit and raid, they used to do back in the day, there's no returning. We're burning the boats. You can't go back. It's full on. It's going to be an insurgent display. And I think, we'll talk about it more about early in the week, but, Broncos week off, if we can start fast with them. And I don't think they've really been in an arm wrestle this year, right? They've been pretty comfortable most of the season, and they've been an amazing team. But pressure football changes things. So we smack them in the face early, anything can happen.
Absolutely. Everyone keep sharing those codes throughout the week, and let's get a big turnout. I reckon we can let's storm the court. Let's get amongst it and
I want to use these grand final tickets that I bought. I want to use them.
And the guy who was had the sign going, "I've already booked my grand finals tickets."
Awesome,
bro, that would be epic if we can do that. Now, also, just before we jump out of here, there's going to be, in the lead up to that game on Saturday in Brisbane, there's going to be a massive meetup at the Lord Alfred Hotel. So that's just down the road from Suncorp, which is, I know it from Magic Round, and it was Magic then, and I think this could be, this could be something else. So, so if you're wanting info around that, check out the Warrior Nation Facebook page. We'll also try and distribute stuff across wherever we can help as well, because it's a big deal for the team and obviously for the fans. Man, I'm just loving this, hey bro. This is how good is this? Considering where we've come from this time last year, man, this is just something else. So loving every minute of it, as I'm sure the lads are. We're going to jump on out of here. My name's Jared Cronin, on behalf of Monita Sauce, Daniel Wharekura, and also Isaac Sauce, who's having a few suckies at the moment at the bar.
Celebratory.
We'll catch you guys later during the week as we build up to the Broncos game. This has been Warriors Anonymous. Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and what was it?
I was saying up the wires.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like it. Let's harmonise the whispers on this one. We'll catch you next time. Up the wires. Oops, the wires. And also, God,